She never told anyone how hard things really were. From the outside, people just assumed she was another girl trying to make ends meet, working late nights and walking home through cracked sidewalks and flickering streetlights. But behind her tired smile was a heart bruised by loneliness, disappointment, and a deep ache that never seemed to go away. Life had taught her early that dreams were dangerous. Every time she dared to hope, whether for love, for a better job, for something as simple as peace, it had slipped through her fingers. She had stopped asking for miracles a long time ago. That night, after her shift at the diner, she'd been especially exhausted. One of the customers had been drunk and aggressive. Her manager hadn't done anything to help. She hadn't eaten in almost 12 hours. Her shoulders ached, and her mind was cloudy with frustration. She should have taken the longer route home, the one that went by the busy street. But she just wanted the day to end, and the shortcut seemed easier. The moment she heard the laughter, she knew she had made a mistake. It wasn't the kind of laughter that came from joy, it was cruel, sharp, and full of malice. The three men who stepped out of the alley weren't there by accident. They had waited, maybe for anyone, maybe just for her. Their eyes were full of something dark. She tried to stay calm, tried to keep walking, hoping they'd let her pass. But they didn't. She remembered how her hands trembled when one of them touched her arm. She remembered the helplessness, the cold weight of fear settling in her chest. In that terrifying moment, all she could think about was how unfair it was, that this was how her story might end. In some forgotten alleyway. Alone. Then suddenly, he was there. He moved like a force of nature, fast, direct, like someone who had nothing to lose and everything to protect. The fight didn't last long, but it was violent. Raw. She could still hear the sound of fists meeting bone, the grunts of pain, the heavy breathing afterward. He didn't turn around like a hero waiting for applause. He only looked at her with soft eyes and asked if she was okay. She didn't know why she trusted him. Maybe it was the way he kept his distance, letting her breathe. Maybe it was the way he didn't ask her anything, didn't pry. He just walked beside her, not saying much, but making her feel less alone than she had in years. After that night, she couldn't forget him. She found herself thinking about his eyes, his voice, the quiet sadness behind his strength. She didn't want to owe anyone her safety, but this was different. He hadn't saved her to be a hero. He had saved her because it was the right thing to do. When she finally found him again at the garage, he looked up from beneath a car, wiping grease from his hands, surprised but not unkind. "You again," he said with a crooked smile. "I brought coffee," she replied, unsure why she was so nervous. They stood there in silence, the air filled with questions neither of them asked. From that day on, she kept coming back. Sometimes just to talk, sometimes to sit in silence while he worked. It became their routine, slow, simple, real. He never pushed her to open up. But over time, she did. She told him about the nights she cried herself to sleep, about the dreams she gave up on, about how hard it was just to keep going. And he listened. Not like someone who pitied her, but like someone who understood. He had demons of his own. She could see them in the way he flinched at loud sounds, the way he shut down when people got too close. He told her bits and pieces, how he'd grown up in a rough neighborhood, how he had to fight to survive. There were people he'd lost, battles he regretted, places he never wanted to go back to. But, with her, he softened. They healed in small ways, quiet mornings with cheap coffee, evenings where they fixed her broken kitchen sink and danced to old songs on the radio, nights under the stars where their conversations turned into confessions. She started dreaming again. He encouraged her to enroll in a nursing program, even when she doubted herself. He helped her study, quizzed her late into the night, celebrated every small success like it was a victory. When she wanted to give up, he reminded her of how far she'd come. He never made her feel like she owed him anything. He never made her feel weak for needing him. Instead, he taught her that needing someone didn't mean being powerless. It meant being human. And slowly, she did the same for him. She reminded him that he wasn't just the result of his past, that he could be something more. She saw him, truly saw him, even when he couldn't look at himself. She made him laugh again, made him believe that maybe life had more to offer than just survival. One winter night, she found him standing outside her apartment, shivering, holding a single flower wrapped in newspaper. "I don't know how to do this," he admitted. "But I wanted to try, for you." She took the flower, tears in her eyes. "You already are. They didn't fall in love all at once. It happened over hundreds of little moments, shared glances, quiet talks, helping each other with everyday things that no one else seemed to notice. It was love born from trust, from understanding, from pain turned into something beautiful. Years later, when she stood on a stage in a white uniform, accepting her certificate to become a nurse, she looked into the crowd and found him there, hands in his pockets, eyes shining with quiet pride. And when he opened his own garage, turning his passion into something stable and his name into something respected, she was the first customer, handing over her keys with a wink and a kiss on the cheek. They built something together, not perfect, but strong. Not because he saved her one night in an alley, but because they saved each other every day after that. Through kindness, through patience, through the simple decision to stay, to try, to believe that even broken people can create something whole. He changed her life, and she changed his, forever.